So today I want to talk about what I've learned from quitting my job. All right, this job was the highest I've been paid. It was a decent job as far as pay goes. I was making more than most people, but I wasn't like really in the six-figure category. But personally, it was the most money I've ever made. Now, there's a couple things I want to hammer out, a couple main points, because otherwise this video is going to be like 1 hour long. So people need to weigh whether the mental strain that they are giving themselves, yes, the work and what you have to do can give it to you too, but what they're giving themselves is worth the money they're making. I would argue that most of the time it is not, okay? Most high-paying jobs, I'm going to speak frankly here, are for a very certain kind of psychopath. If you are a CEO for a company and you have to deal with putting out probably 5,000 fires a day, and you somehow work 22 hours a day, you know, that's for a certain kind of psychopath. So me talking to the normal individual, okay, that wants to climb up ladders and make more money, you truly need to determine whether that money is worth it. With online options and taking a bit of risk to do things that you may actually enjoy doing, I really want people to reconsider whether some of the stresses they take on at their jobs are truly worth it. For me, it wasn't. I was being misled, lied to, betrayed, and what I did not know was constantly being used against me at a scale I really can't even explain. That would be like a whole separate video in the future, okay? My higher ups and my associates were kind of warping and using policy against me, using things I didn't know against me, playing games, phoning up higher ups and twisting things, okay? I worked at this place for 4 months and it progressively got worse. And I'll keep it short, but it got to the point where I told myself I'd work here at least for a year before making a plan to find another job. But I could not do it anymore. I truly reached my breaking point. I was like, one day, this happened, this literally happened a couple of days ago. I reached the point where I just had to leave. I just had to leave. I just had to fucking leave. I didn't even put in like 2 weeks or anything like this. I went to a higher up of a higher up. I had the email for that person. I wrote out everything that wasn't true, whether they believed me or not. I wrote out all my grievances and I said, good luck. I'm gone. This is just ridiculous. And guys, I had enough going on. I could have probably written the script to a reality show level drama or a fucking soap opera, okay? The bullshit that was happening. All right? So that personally just wasn't worth it for me, okay? Now to a possible, excuse me, to a possible drama addicted, chaotic individual, maybe that would have been worth it. You know what I mean? But you really need to reconcile with yourself whether a job that ruins your mind to that degree is worth it. You kind of need to take stock of your own situation and see if it's worth it. All right. The next thing is going to be just how easy it is for a normal modern person to be tricked into thinking that their survival is on the line. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that there's a lot of people out there with many chosen responsibilities, such as kids and a spouse, and you know, there's going to be rent and bills and what have you. But now more than ever, there are just a bunch of people with not that many responsibilities. And I suppose I'm generalizing and speaking to that audience primarily. But even so, I mean, if you've got some fallback fuck you money in the bank account, this might apply to you. Your survival is illogically being choked, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you may think that quitting your job, and I'm not telling you to quit your job, this is going to be for you to decide. You may think that quitting your job that's making your life shit is going to be on the same level as you being at the edge of the cliff and one wrong step and you fall to your death. Because your mind doesn't really know the difference. Okay? Your mind it doesn't really know the difference. Now, obviously your adrenaline's going to be spiking more and your heartbeat's going to be beating more if you were in that second situation. Even so, there's so much stress added to daily life for the smallest things, because that is the scale at which you live in. That's the perception that you have, right? Like, real actual dangers to you aren't real actual dangers. That's my point, right? To you, quitting or leaving or getting fired is the worst thing that can happen to you. But in a true survival scenario, your brain is equating that with getting eaten by a fucking animal and falling off a cliff. It's not real. It's not real. Okay? If you quit your job, you will find a way. You're probably going to be okay. It is not, I've said this before in another video, it's not hard to survive in a Western country. You just get another job and you will live and you will be fine. The final point I want to make is that people make things harder than they need to be. All right? They really do. Sometimes you got to be told the most obvious fucking things to smack you out of a shitty reality that you're choosing to stay in. For example, if you work a shitty job, you can leave and you'll be fine. If you have a shitty relationship, you can leave and you'll be fine. This is where survival almost kicks in to be more of a pro than a con, because your survival can be predicated on to keep you in a shitty job because you think you're gonna fucking die if you quit or you get fired from that job. On the converse of that, if you do leave a job, you're not gonna allow yourself to die. You're not gonna allow yourself to starve. You will go get another job. You will reach out to family and friends if you need to have a place to stay or whatever, okay? Everything, almost everything in your life, seriously, you're making it harder than it needs to be. If you hate your job, leave. You'll be fine. If you're in a shitty relationship, leave. You'll be fine. Of course, it'll hurt and sting and not feel good. And you'll go through ups and downs and denial and depression and whatever the fuck, right? You'll go through all of that. If you have shitty friends, stop hanging out with them. If you have shitty family, don't talk to them. I know it's hard in your head. It's supposed to be. But it also can be very simple. The power you have is more than you know. The superpower of just fucking off, which you can do at any time you want, is extremely powerful. I need you, I'm gonna say this shit again. The superpower the power you don't even know you have of leaving a situation you don't want to be in is immeasurably freeing and powerful. You don't have to do anything you don't like doing, with nuance, of course, generally, broadly speaking. Let me say it again. You are making your life harder than it needs to be, okay? I believe when you truly internalize this, when you free yourself in your fucking mind, when you free yourself, seriously, you will see things you didn't see before. You'll see that you may not be able to buy expensive clothes like you were when you were making a lot of money, but then you'll see the expensive clothes that you do have and that you don't need anymore, and you're fine. For example, for a personal example, things are as serious as you make them. Things can be as hard as you make them. I've seen guys quit their jobs, go into a job that doesn't pay them as much, and be fine, like wiping dust off their fucking shoulders. They just don't give a shit. They just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But then I've also seen guys that make it a huge ordeal and put more pain on themselves than necessary. Okay, your ego plays a huge factor into this, and I won't go into that right now, but you can do whatever the fuck you want, okay? The whole point of this video is for me to sort of put out everything and main points I've learned from me quitting a job that made me a worse off son, a worse off friend, a not so good boyfriend, and I honestly don't really think I was good to myself. I wasn't even a present good being. I wasn't a good man to my fucking self, you know? I got a little fatter, a little stupider, a little slower, a lot angrier, more frustrated. And that was the effects of what that job was doing to me, of what the people at that job were putting on me, okay? If I can help someone avoid the shit I just had to go through, I would love to do that. And that's what this video is for. I hope you learned something. I hope that my words can help you. I hope someone out there can learn from what I just said. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think what I just said can be priceless to someone out there, and so that's why I wanted to put it out there. I just think I want to bring a perspective onto the table that could hopefully change someone's life. But I hope this coffee setup kind of turns out well here. I kind of dig it. I'll play around with that more in the future. But for now, keep it real. See you on the next one. Peace.